Okay, call this regular council meeting of February 28, 2017 to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Kavod,
Here.
Dries, Alter,
Here.
Hermes,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Walther,
Here.
Moore,
Here. Mr. Dries has excused absence. We have a prayer by Councilman Halter.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to serve this community. We pray that you would give us wisdom, help us to make wise choices, and may you bless us as we love and serve you. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 20th, 2017, and the meeting work session of February 14th, 2017. Anybody have any corrections or comments to make? Hearing none, minutes stand approved. Next item we have some proclamations that the village has received, and I'll read the short one. And I'll let Mr. Holder read the longer one. We got a short one from the city of Greenbelt, Maryland, and we have a proclamation that the Hamilton County Commissioners presented to us a couple weeks ago. But the one from Greenbelt, Maryland says, "Dear Mayor Moore and members of council, on behalf of the citizens of Greenbelt, it gives us great pleasure to bring greetings and congratulations to the citizens and council of the village of Greenhills on designation of Greenhills Historic District as a National Historic Landmark. Along with Greendale, Wisconsin, Greenbelt recognizes the bonds between our sister communities, the only three built as a result of the Resettlement Administration's Greentown program, a part of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's sweeping New Deal. They were built to put people to work and to relieve housing shortages during the Great Depression. Combining the best of city and country living, our communities were and are still models of modern town planning, well deserving of the national recognition as they continue to thrive over 75 years later." And so signed by the mayor and all the council members in Greenbelt.
And this is a proclamation from Hamilton County Board of Commissioners, as the mayor mentioned. Proclamation in recognition of the village of Greenhills being designated a National Historic Landmark, whereas National Historic Landmarks are nationally significant historic places designated by the Secretary of the Interior, possessing exceptional value or quality in illustrating or interpreting the heritage of the United States. And whereas working with citizens throughout the nation, the National Historic Landmarks Program draws upon the expertise of the National Park Service staff, who guide the nomination process for new landmarks and provide assistance to existing landmarks. And whereas obtaining the National Historic Landmark designation was a multi-year process going back to its inclusion as a goal of the village's 2009 comprehensive plan, and picking up momentum in 2012 when 3 senior officials from the National Park Service visited the community for an assessment. And whereas the assessment found that the village of Greenhills represents significant aspects of New Deal policy, which is an important period in the evolution of the American suburb, and pioneering innovations in house and neighborhood design. And whereas the village of Greenhills was one of 3 New Deal Greenbelt towns built by the Resettlement Federal response to the Great Depression, by providing economic relief in the form of employment and making use of modern principles of design and lower cost methods of home construction, in an effort to stimulate the building industry while also raising the quality of life for working class Americans. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the village of Greenhills, Ohio, after receiving a unanimous recommendation by the National Park Service Advisory Board, was designated a National Historic Landmark in November of 2016 for depicting different threads of the American story that have been told through activism, architecture, music, and religious observance, and will ensure the future generations will have the ability to learn from the past as we preserve and protect the historic value of these properties. 2016 Secretary of Interior, Sally Jewell, and be it further proclaimed that on behalf of all the citizens of Hamilton County, this board does hereby congratulate the Village of Greenhills, Ohio on achieving this prestigious designation, adding to a list of past achievements, maintaining its long-standing motto, pioneering a dream. By the order of the Board of County Commissioners, Hamilton County, Ohio.
All right, and actually, we have another presentation, and that's an award presentation, and are you doing that, Chief?
Actually, the Springdale Police.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us here and allowing us to come speak to you this evening. Officer Clark, come on over here. On the early morning hours of January 26th, we had a fight break out at one of our nightclubs in the city of Springdale. Unfortunately, this altercation led to a shooting, and we responded to that call and found a man who had been shot. So our life squad transported that person to Bethesda North Hospital, and we began our investigation. Needless to say, I don't think there's any police department that's always big enough to handle everything by itself. You know, when bad things happen, you need help from your neighbors. And this was a perfect example of that case. We had our patrol officers responded to the scene. They did a great job securing the crime scene. There were a bunch of witnesses there at this nightclub and a lot of pandemonium. And, they had to go to the hospital and deal with that situation. And they put out a broadcast based on information they received from witnesses at the scene about a possible suspect vehicle. And lo and behold, in the early morning hours of January 26th, Officer Clark here was on patrol. He heard the broadcast come out. He alertly positioned himself in a place where he could see traffic as it was going by, and here comes the suspect vehicle. So he follows it. He does what he was trained to do, did a good job, got backup officers. They initiated a stop of the vehicle. There were 3 suspects in there. We were able to identify fairly quickly that those people were involved in the altercation at the nightclub, that we had the correct suspect vehicle. So we were able to bring those people to our police station, which furthered our investigation. Later that day, we were able to charge one of the occupants of that vehicle with murder, and one of the other occupants of that vehicle with felony obstructing justice for what they did during the course of the investigation. And I'd just like to commend Officer Clark and thank him on behalf of the City of Springdale and the Springdale Police Department for what he did. I've heard some people, and maybe he even might feel this way, he's just doing his job. Well, in doing his job, he placed himself in harm's way, stopping a vehicle that contained 3 suspects that were wanted in a shooting that turned out to be a murder. Some people say, hey, it just was luck that car drove by. I don't believe in that. I think a lot of times this job we make our own luck. And we make it by going out there and doing our job consistently and doing it well, being alert, being attentive, and doing what we were trained to do. I don't buy any of that. I think this young man was courageous. He was serving his community. He served our community, and he helped get a person who committed a murder off the streets. And that helps bring some small measure of justice, maybe comfort, to that deceased person's family. So, I'd like to present Officer Clark with a challenge coin. For those that may not be familiar with the concept of challenge coins, they allegedly, or I believe, kind of were created by the military. Military units would create a coin or a memento that members of that unit could carry to show that they belong to that unit. And if someone outside of that unit provided a service or, connectivity to that unit that helped further their mission or help them out, they could present them with one of these coins to kind of show, hey, you're part of the family. Now, he was already part of our family. We're all part of the police family, and we all take care of each other. And but now I want him to know that did a special job for us, and we deeply appreciate it. And I didn't write this, and I certainly, if I did, there'd be a few misspellings and a couple of commas, a couple of commas where they're not supposed to be. My wife's an English teacher, and apparently I have a master's degree, and I still apparently have never learned to use a comma, according to her. Champions in law enforcement are not born. They are not made by a single accomplishment or the most citations of the day. They are not achieved with a compliment from a lone citizen, an arrest, or a case closed. Rather, they are made through the hours, weeks, months, and years of service to the community. They are made in the countless hours of patrol at 3 a.m., of the traffic duty, which is always in the rain, and the foot chases of 18-year-old felons, and in the death investigation of the innocent, the less fortunate, and the abused. The victorious performance of a law enforcement champion is the professionalism of the position. It is the small things, the extra things, and the commitment that one does in service to the community. It is merely a demonstration of the integrity by which the job is completed. And on behalf of the Springdale Police Department, we salute you and thank you for the job that you did. Yeah, you have to do a 5-minute presentation.
One thing I'll say is I didn't come here to get challenge coins. You know, I was just doing my job. Basically, like you said, I've told my chief this. I was just at the right place at the right time. So, but I'm greatly appreciating
You
it.
just heard me explain
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to come and let me shake your hand?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. All right, moving on. This is the time for residents to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anybody? Everybody left. Okay. Reports of village officials, Municipal Manager Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a number of things I'd like to review tonight. First of all, I was pleased to be able to let you all know about the person I was able to hire rather quickly to replace Connie Westendorf. Sent you the information on David Lumsden. He will be starting on March 6th, which will give him 1 week to work with Connie before she leaves on the 10th. So we're excited that that worked out as well as it did, and certainly welcome him on March 6th. The other thing I want to update you on, another thing, is the NatureWorks grant. If you remember last time, we were having, the engineer was submitting a proposal for their work. We were also looking at the time frame. I have actually talked to some other engineering firms to obtain a lower bid for engineering services, and I have secured the services of JMA Consultants, who were less than half the price that had been submitted to us by our own engineering firm. Plans are moving forward. Surveying work is on schedule. You'll see them out there over the next 2 weeks. Our new estimates do show we could potentially come up short on funding for the project. So we're looking at some different ways to cut, to trim, to do things with our service department. We also have the potential of maybe redirecting some of our community development block grant money to that project. So I will be looking into that as well. Golf course promotion. At the council work session on February 14th, I had mentioned a special promotion for the golf course to try to boost memberships. Puts rates back to what they were in 1991. So anyway, the intention was try to encourage memberships. We're currently at 6 memberships for the golf course. Tonight, I asked for a motion of council to approve that action, so it's reflected in the minutes. I did discuss this with our solicitor. We've done similar short-term alterations in our fees in the past, every year we do like a discount halfway through. We never reflect that. One year we were making some changes in the pool rates. We did that. So it wouldn't, his feeling, and I would have to agree, is to change it for just a really short period of time, then we'd be coming back and changing it again. So he felt that a motion was sufficient to acknowledge that change for a period of time. I anticipate that ending probably in early June of this year, so it is not a long-term thing. So later on, I guess if somebody could make such a motion, that would be great. Let's see. I have met with Chris Russo. She was at our previous meeting from the Historic Society, where we started a dialogue to try to continually find ways to promote our National Historic Landmark designation. And one thing she mentioned that was very exciting was, and at the time these dates weren't firmed up, and I haven't heard back from her yet if they have been, that they've been working with the Cincinnati Museum Center on some house tours of Greenhills, possibly in the months of April and September, I believe. So I'll check back with her to see if that's been confirmed. That's really exciting stuff, I think. So anyway, I look forward to that dialogue continuing. Announcement, spring leaf collection will be for 1 week only, April 10th through April 14th. Everybody has to have their leaves out by April 10th. They will make only one pass through the village, so if your leaves are still there, you'll need to bag them up and put them out with your regular collection, but that'll allow everybody to clean up before the holiday. Rita Taxpayer Assistance Day will be held, we've done this now for a few years in a row, on Tuesday, March 21st. Once again, it will be held in the Mount Healthy Community Center. That's because Rita serves a number of communities down here, so they try to find a central location. It's, again, March 21st from noon until 6 p.m. It's a first-come, first-served basis, so, and I did a pretty comprehensive ad in the Journal that'll come out on Friday for the residents, but I wanted to give you a heads up that is coming up. Recently, a number of us, the mayor, chief, and I attended a planning meeting for both new schools, although our focus is the K through 6, which we understand will have about 2,000 students attending that new school when it's built. The design team will be meeting like through the summer months to, right now they're kind of talking a lot of major concepts, big things, but as they narrow it down to the design, that's where our real interest will come in on issues like the access, the transportation, the safety, all those kinds of things. I'm pretty excited that we're able to work on that on the front end of the project and incorporate as many good things into those buildings as possible. Reminder on the retreat, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little while, but I wanted to ask council members if your council member handbook, it's in a white binder that I gave you a couple years ago. If you could find those, that would be great, because I have some updated pages for you. Okay, so that would be helpful. Park Talks are returning this year. Chief and I do want to thank the chief, like right now, for all the work you put into these and help me, because it's just awesome. I think the information that we're able to get out to the residents, so I really appreciate you participating in these. We are going to do them again. There will also be an ad, not in this coming journal, but in the following journal, but just to give you a rough idea, April 18th, May 16th, July 18th, September 19th, and October 17th. I think those are all Tuesdays, and we're trying to pick shady locations this year. So we're a couple times got really hot last year. Again, this will be advertised in the April journal, for the first time in the April journal, and then probably every month thereafter. So. And again, just one more reminder that we have an operating levy coming up this year in November, so you'll be seeing more about that.
Okay.
And that's what I have for now.
Questions or comments? The manager.
Were there, I was going to say for the school, were there any kind of time frames mentioned?
For
Anything? I know it's big picture. I didn't know if they had big picture times.
Other than working on design through the summer. No, but we'll keep you posted if we hear any.
Is the leaf collection on April 10th, is that something worthy of a one call, or how do we let the residents know?
You know, we're doing a journal ad, but maybe we could and should do a roll call that might.
Yeah.
Since
more
it's
The Friday
Yeah,
before, or
let's do that,
Thursday or
yeah.
Friday before?
Yeah.
And there's a number of them that have oak leaves piled up in some places already, including a couple of our parks, so,
Okay.
before it kills the grass, hopefully.
Well, we're
Okay.
getting a real strong wind tonight. That's
Yeah.
Might be relocated.
Yeah, I had several
Right, that's
people
great.
that asked me about the leaf collection, if we were going to have another one. I referred them to call the office.
Okay.
And I saw it on the calendar.
Yes.
So I called back those that I had the number to let him know.
Oh, good.
So,
Great.
Right. Right. Moving on, Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just give you my usual update on medical marijuana, and that is, there really isn't anything new to update at this point. There have been rules introduced for the dispensaries, the cultivators, the physicians, and the patients/caregivers. Those were open for public comment, and I believe all of those have now been closed to public comment. So the rules continue to work their way through. We continue to watch them. You've already adopted a moratorium, so you've got that covered. I will continue to watch the progress of those rules and report to you when they look like they're getting toward any kind of actionable time for you. But at this point, there really isn't anything to take action on. And really, that's all that I have to report on tonight.
anything new on the budget? They were
The
going,
The state budget,
the state budget
well, I mean, the portion that probably
affect us.
that affects you is the provision for what they call centralized collection.
Correct.
For municipalities that have an income tax, there is a provision that's been included in the state budget bill that in essence says business filings will now be done through the state business gateway. And the state will collect the tax for you.
And charge a percentage as well.
And they will, yes, and that's
Yes.
proposed, and that they will then charge a percentage as an administration fee. And then I guess redistribute that, the funds back
Back to us.
to you.
At a discounted
The-
price.
The Ohio Municipal League has taken a very active stance against this. If you remember back when, I guess it was House Bill 5, that recently, I guess more than a year ago now, that required all the municipalities that have income taxes to update their codes to be in conformity with the state law. When that was initially introduced, it had this centralized collection portion included in it, and the backlash was so great that it was taken out with the promise that, okay, we hear you, we won't do that. And now, a
Yeah.
few years later, it's found its way back into the next budget bill. I can tell you that the reaction that I've seen is pretty consistent among all municipalities, and that is, thank you very much, state, but we're doing just fine collecting our income tax on our own. It's, it's an affront to your home rule authority to have local control over your income tax. And it was something that was taken out of a prior bill because of that backlash, and now it's back in. We don't know what the final budget bill is gonna look like. It has to go through a lot of, there'll be a lot of hearings and discussions, and we'll just continue to see if that provision remains included in that budget bill.
I particularly, if you can, if I don't get information through the municipal league, I would like to know when those hearings are being held in Columbus. There are some of the times that are allotted for comments, et cetera,
Yes,
and I would like to be aware of those.
of course, and I suspect you guys have access to the Ohio Municipal League legislative bulletins. And honestly, that's probably the best place to watch, because the Municipal League does a really good job of keeping people posted on when the opportunity to testify up there is. So the truth is, that's what I'd be watching, to keep you posted, and I'll do that.
What is your guesstimate that this will occur?
Oh, I think it'll happen.
No, the date of what
Oh.
this meetings would be.
Oh, I have no idea. I couldn't even guess when they'll have the hearings.
Before June or after June, you have no idea?
I couldn't, I don't
Okay.
even want to guess, because I
Okay.
don't know.
What's the impetus for this? I mean, is it just, we're from the home office and we can do it better? Is that?
We want your money.
No, well,
We want your money.
there are a couple theories, and the governor's office, and it was the governor that introduced this into the budget bill. What the governor's office will tell you is this is just another step to make Ohio business-friendly, so that businesses across the state will be able to have a single filing place to where they can file all of their local taxes, instead of having to file. It's a similar argument they made to the uniformity law
House
a
Bill
couple of
5.
years ago, where they said we don't want, businesses shouldn't have to have different rules everywhere they go in every municipality, so they made us all become uniform. Now, the next step is, well, they shouldn't have to, fill out returns in all these different places. You can just do it with us at the state. I suspect, if you played that out, and I was mentioning this to your manager right before the meeting, that if this happens, what you will probably see in a year or two is the state of Ohio telling you, well, this business filing centralization worked out so well, let's go ahead and we'll just have all of the filings
Yeah.
done through the state. We'll create a new state portal for that, and everyone can just file all of their taxes through the state. I suspect if they did that, their administrative fee would be increased. So you would get less of your money back. And then I think the real fear is that then the next step after that would be, well, now that we've collected all of the municipal income tax from around the state, let's really give, just like they're doing right now with the local government fund, let's create a new formula about how we give that money back.
Yeah, that's worked so well with the schools, yeah.
Right, exactly. But I think that's the fear, and the governor's office will tell you that that's an outlandish fear. It would never come to that. But they also, 2 years ago, pulled central collection out of the bill, and now it's right back here. So there's a bit of a...
And Jack, do you want to have, in your committee, consider doing a resolution, council support for getting rid of this?
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what I'll do. Another municipality that I represent happened to have a council meeting last night where they adopted a resolution to that effect, and I'd be happy to share that with you. And you can, it's tailored pretty closely to them, but it'll give you a good place to start.
It's fine.
Good. All right, Clerk of Council, Catherine Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The 2017 event schedule, the February 2017 community calendar, and resolution numbers 2017-04 LNR and 05 SNS were posted as required. Additionally, notice of the taxpayer assistance event on March 21st, 2017, and the revised event schedule were also posted. And if there are no questions, that will conclude my report.
Okay, hearing no questions. Chief of Police, Neil Fertelman.
Thanks, Mayor. We did a lot of paperwork during the month of January, compiling some year-end reports. A lot of those are required because of accreditation, but so many of them in this particular day and age are so important. It documents where we stand on recruitment, use of force, bias-based policing. So these are analytical reports, so we actually look back at our officers' actions, make recommendations for improvement, and have documentation that exists. for possible litigation down the road, but also really just to document where we're at and that we are watching these important areas. One of the new areas that we're watching is, and now participating in, is the State of Ohio's Collaborative, which, if you want to look at it one way, is almost a mini accreditation. It's once again not mandatory, but it's highly encouraged. And I think about 200 out of 700 police departments, if I recall correctly, are currently involved, including us. One of the interesting things you may have noted in the newspaper within the last week, that a new standard was developed on bias-based policing by the state of Ohio. It mirrors almost exactly CALEA standard 1.2.9, which is something that we have met since 2007. So we're already way ahead of the curve in meeting this new standard that's just been adopted. Lieutenant Ward has been handling all of our state collaborative paperwork, and we expect a visit from the state very shortly. And I believe that because of the fact that we just went through another CALEA accreditation and these standards were already included, that we'll do just fine. We have been replacing our officer portable radios. They're an exorbitant cost. They're almost $4,000 each. They're, I guess, like military specs. You can drop them and they keep right on working. So that's a good part of it. But unfortunately, the ones that we carry, the majority of the ones that we carry are now considered obsolete. Parts will be phased out by Motorola in 2018. What we've done for the past almost 4 years is we've been replacing about 2 of those a year. And I'm very happy to use drug dealer money to do that. So we've used no general fund money on these large ticket items. And I also wait once a year, like clockwork. Motorola has a sale. And they just went on sale for $650 off. So tonight, one of the items on your agenda is some movement, some money around in our drug enforcement fund. And if you should approve that, we will have 2 new radios on order for our officers. And we reached the point 2 years ago where every officer had his or her own radio, and I think that really helps the lifespan of the radio when it's individually cared for. But we are now to the point where we will have not totally a majority, but really close to about half of the newer radios. So we'll continue to keep buying those, and the ones that are no longer available for parts, they keep working as long as they work. But we want to make sure that we're not caught in a bind with those. We worked with the municipal manager and the finance director in crafting some resolutions. We have a very generous community, and they have given us some donations, and we're asking to set up a police donations fund so that when an unusual circumstance hits at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and the officer's on duty, that he has some ability to help somebody that might be in need. So we've looked at a number of different options, and we think this is the way to go with that. Speaking of the generosity of our community, one such example occurred last month with the American Legion right next door. Post 530 donated enough money to donate a new ballistic vest. And there's a little bit of irony to this. Our newest hire is Army Reserve Lieutenant Michael Willis, and he is going to be the recipient of that new vest donated by his fellow veterans. And it was also more of an irony. Officer Clark, who you saw tonight, who's a veteran of the U.S. Army, and Officer Tricase, who was in the back of the room, he's a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. They both went over to accept that award. So I think everybody was pretty happy that evening. You heard about the response to the murder over in Springdale. One of the things that Chief Mathis did not mention, and I won't go into detail because I don't know how involved it is with the trial, but Officer Clark was able to follow the suspect vehicle for some time. We had terrible cruiser cameras up until a few years ago. We were able to get some grant funding to fund most of those, and we did also use the drug enforcement fund for the remainder of that. But because of the high quality of our digital cameras, we were able to pick up some actions that are going to greatly increase the ability of the prosecution. So that's just an example of how important our equipment is to us, and we continue to look for ways to find grant funding and other resources to pay for those. One such example, this is not really law enforcement equipment, but community equipment. We just applied, actually the manager pointed it out to me, and we went right to work. We don't know if we're going to get it yet, but we applied for a grant for some bicycle helmets for kids. And mentioning Officer Clark, he came to me a couple of weeks ago and he says, I'd really like to increase the safety of our kids in the summertime. He said, I'd like to put on a bike rodeo where we can teach kids how to properly ride bikes. And in concert with that, we thought it'd be great if we provide them with helmets. So that's also in the works. February 16th and February 23rd, we interviewed 7 officer candidates. We keep getting close, but we're not quite at full strength. We're very, very close. We interviewed a number of good candidates. Lieutenant Ward is heading up the background investigations on those, so we're very hopeful that we'll be able to get that. One of the reasons that's so important to me is that will allow us to place somebody part-time in the DART, the Drug Abuse Reduction Task Force, and I think that'll be very good for our community. If council action is positive tonight, we have a Post-it note sitting on a Ford SUV up at Lebanon Ford. It has Greenhills on it, and if you approve it tonight, we'll take the Post-it off and put some license plates on it and drive it back to Greenhills. So we're hopeful to do that. That really gives us some decent cars and hopefully a good replacement schedule of about every other year on a cruiser. So thanks very much for the help that particularly our safety committee has given on that. We had an interesting luncheon on Friday for any of those who have ever heard Queen Janine on WGRR in the morning. She's a pretty forceful personality, and Vonda Sequoia, our clerk, had submitted a request for a lunch for a workplace, and we won it. So we invited all the Greenhills employees and officials to come, and it was a very delicious lunch, and the Queen herself came to grace us with her presence. And if you've taken a glance at the monthly report, we've got her in handcuffs. She kind of took over the place when she came, so she managed to get out of the handcuffs and serve lunch anyway. So that was a lot of fun. During the month of January, we investigated 4 traffic accidents. That was down from 6 in January of 16. 5 crimes, up from 4 from last January. 158 other incidents. We made 579 contacts with citizens. 265 of those were dispatched, and 314 were self-initiated by our officers. The department provided assistance to the public in 186 instances. We assisted other agencies 38 times, including Springdale once, and we made 37 criminal arrests and 64 traffic arrests. Thanks, Mayor.
Any comments or questions of the chief?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions on the Ford that you have waiting with a sticker note there. That does not include the package. How much is the additional package, and when would that be available?
That is the total cost out the door from Lebanon Ford. That's on your
Correct.
agenda tonight. I believe it's $28,000. There is an additional cost that will go to Mobilecom for the outfitting. That typically runs, I'm thinking $7,000, $8,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing, we always reuse as much as we can. But there came to a point, the last one we did, they told us, they said, your blue lights are so old, they
Yeah.
really, it's going to cost us more to try and make them work. So we got new blue lights on the last one. That will most likely be the case. We budgeted the same amount in the 2017 budget that we had for the replacement last year.
Okay, and my second question is, are you having plans to have community meetings for topics that interest our citizens like we did last year?
Sure. Any of those ideas, if you have some,
Okay.
please forward them to us. As they come up, we'll develop them. We've talked about maybe another, we've talked about a number of different ideas. And I think what we're trying to do right now is stabilize our staff. We've got, unfortunately, half our staff is just getting out of the FTO program. So we're trying to get them to where they're more active. And in fact, Officer Clark is just a fountain of ideas. He wants to do another coffee with the cop, and he came up with the bicycle idea. And of course, we'll be out in all the neighborhoods again with the manager this summer.
And my last question on the bicycle idea, do you have any idea how much cost per helmet at this point, or neighborhood, or?
No, I don't, because I think it depends on whether or not we receive the grant. And we put in there that they ask us if we were able to provide matching funds, and we said that would be determined on what they they told us. So we would also look to see if we had any other matching funds that were non-general funds, or possibly even look for contributions to come up with that.
Well, before you leave today, I'll give you a check in the memory of my husband
Thank you
to
very
get
much.
some helmets.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor's report. I'll give you a copy of the Greendale or Greenbelt proclamation. I have municipal court distribution report for the month of January. To the county, $48, to the state of Ohio, $1,357, and to the village of Greenhills, $6,975.70 for a grand total of $8,380.70. One other item, which I'll pass to Jack. There's not much we can do about it, but if we wanted to, we could complain. But I received a notification from Duke Energy that they're requesting of the PUCO an increase in the electric distribution rates. And they spell all those out. And that's all I have. If anybody has any questions?
Oh, I had a question. I don't know if it's appropriate for you or for Ms. Kovac, but I got a letter from Duke.
On the aggregation?
Yes, we were not supposed to do anything about it, correct?
Right. The letter, as I understand it, is if you don't want to stay in the village's program, you would have to contact Duke.
Correct.
Okay, because everybody was talking about it, everybody had received it, and, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Duke is sending out some very confusing letters. Like,
Yes.
If you've been in our aggregation program, you don't have to do anything. You'll stay in our aggregation program.
Okay.
All right, committee reports, Service and Streets, Jeff Cavode.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Right now, we have a meeting scheduled for the 13th of March at 5 p.m. And just, I was going to bring it up in this report, but Yvonne brought it up earlier, the leaf collection from the 10th through the 14th, and also would encourage, this is a good time of the year as the weather breaks, that residents get out and get that last group of leaves from the winter. We've had a lot of wind come through the village here in the last few weeks. Probably got one coming tonight. Our brush truck runs on Mondays. You can collect all those limbs and put them out, and the guys will come by and pick them up. It's just a good way to start with the spring. You know, fresh look, curb appeal is the number one thing in real estate. So the better the village looks, the better we look. So that's it on my report for now.
Okay. Community Development, Mr. Halder.
Yes, we have a meeting also coming up on March 14th at 5:15 p.m. A couple other things, I've updated our business cards. Some of you have taken advantage of that. I think a couple are waiting to indicate the National Historic Landmark designation. Also updated the letterhead and stationery for the village. I'm hoping to have a bumper sticker for you guys, or a couple options for the retreat, because it'd be nice to start to get the word out, and Yvonne and I continue to talk about how we can best leverage this great new designation. I do have a motion concerning what Yvonne brought up about the temporary golf membership fee adjustment. Do I have to add that to the agenda? So, I guess concluding reports, I'll make a motion to do that. Other than that, I am done for this evening.
Okay. Safety, Melanie Herbst.
Our next meeting is March 28th at 5:15. That is all I have, except for congratulations to the police department for a good and active year so far, and especially to Officer Clark.
Finance and Audit, Mr. Dries is not here. Do you have anything?
No, he didn't leave anything
Okay.
behind. I will read the resolutions that he has, but
Okay.
I didn't even know.
Okay. Recreation Cable Television, Maria Walther.
Yes, I had a meeting with the staff about the Harvest Fest. We had some things worked out. The next meeting that we're going to have everybody together with the commission and the committee, is going to be on April the 6th. We have the committee half an hour earlier, so that would be about 6:30, and the commission would be at 7. We have a couple of things in place. We have the music in place. We have some of the foods in place, etc., and some of the packets for applications are also ready to go. I have the date in here also for the Waycross meeting. That's March the 15th at 7 p.m. And I noticed that it was not on the calendar. It usually is in the calendar, but this time it wasn't on the calendar.
Do you have a list of those by any
I
chance?
don't have it at this time,
Okay.
but I just happened to look at that before I came over. And I had it on my planner, but not only that one for the month, but that was it. I also wanted to mention the fact that we have a lot of people interested in joining a group for beautification, for planting, for flowers and so forth, and that's going to be taking place on Sunday at the Troubadour. And I believe it's at 1 o'clock. I'm not 100% sure about the time on that. I can get back to you on that to put it on the calendar. I just received a memo on that very quickly. And that's including the big pots, including the corners, including everything else. And I don't know if someone would have a better suggestion. I would hate to start putting stuff down and having them weed whacked again. So if there's any suggestions on how to avoid that from happening again, that would be great. And later on, I will be reading some of the resolutions from Mr. Dries, if I may. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on, intergovernmental affairs, laws and rules, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing really to report. We'll certainly be getting into a lot of laws and rules ordinances here in short order. But when the next meeting of the committee will be on the 13th, immediately before Streets and Services, March 13th at 4.
I'm at
Is that
5.
okay, Jack?
That works.
All right. And we'll be taking up the resolution on the state budget as well as the Duke item that was
13th.
passed.
Oh, 13th, okay.
So if there's any additional items that need to be thrown towards our committee, please move those along. That's all.
If I may add also, the retreat does not appear on the calendar either, on the website,
Thought that was up. Okay.
unless I looked at the wrong month, but I clicked it to get to March,
Okay.
and I did not see it there.
And, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to add an addition to the agenda for temporary adjustment of the golf membership fee.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, added it. All right, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to go through here. Unfinished business, general orders, ordinance number 2017-01-LNR. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move to suspend the rules requiring the reading of this particular ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading the ordinance the ordinance in its entirety.
Like to second that?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Cavode,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance 2017-01 LNR, ordinance amending the section of 1335 of the Greenhills Code of Ordinances regarding rental dwellings and units. I move that for the adoption of this ordinance.
have a second.
Second it?
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any discussions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, again, just to refresh everyone's memory, this is an amendment to the current section 1335 to update it relative to some recent court actions in the state of Ohio to bring them into better compliance with those decisions.
Okay. All right. Clerk, call the roll.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 2017-01-LNR passes. Next ordinance, 2017-02 LNR. And that will be, is that LNR or is that recreation?
It's
That's the one we need to
We read it the
change,
first time under LNR.
but it
we're
should have
throwing
been
it into
should have been
Maria.
in recreation.
Should have been in recreation.
Okay, this is an ordinance to amend section 159.02 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Greenhills regarding membership to the Recreation Commission. The ordinance reads as following. Whereas section 159.02 of the Greenhills codified ordinances governs the membership and terms of members of the Greenhills Recreation Commission, and whereas council has determined that for the efficient operation of the Recreation Commission, it is in the best interest to authorize the appointment of an alternate member. Now therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that Section 159.02 of the codified ordinances be amended to read as set forth in the document attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference. All other provisions of Chapter 159 not specifically amended herein shall remain in full force and effect. And Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law. And I do move to vote for this ordinance, please.
a second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
if there is an intent to amend the ordinance, that would come now.
Oh,
If you
Oh.
want to change the
Change it
title.
to
Recreation.
So
oh,
I move to change the title to ordinance number 2017-02-RC.
I second that.
okay. Do we need a voice vote or a roll call?
Is there any discussion?
Yeah. Any discussion?
No.
Seems like it should
No.
be under RC.
Okay. Voice vote or a roll call on the
A
change?
voice.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Carries. All right. Now, roll call to vote on 2017-02 rec.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 2017-02-recreation carries. All right, another one. Ordinance number 2017-03-LNR. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2017-3 LNR, amending various sections of the Greenhills Codified Ordinance regarding where a motorized vehicle can be driven. Whereas for the safety of the this is a second reading, by the way. Whereas for the safety of the public, it is necessary to prohibit motorized vehicles, motorized bicycles, mopeds, and any other kind from driving on any sidewalks, street lawn area, planting strips, or parkland within the Village of Greenhills. Now therefore be ordained by the Village of Greenhills, Ohio. Section 1, that Section 301.04C be added that states as follows. C, Electric bicycle means a 2- or 3-wheel vehicle with fully operational pedals and an electric motor of less than 750 watts, 1 horsepower, whose maximum speed on a paved level surface when powered solely by such motor while ridden by an operator is less than 20 miles per hour. Section 2, that's section 331.37 of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinances is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 331.37, driving upon sidewalks, streets, lawns, curbs, or parkland. A, no person shall drive any motorized vehicle, motorized bicycle, electric bicycle, or moped other than a bicycle upon a sidewalk or sidewalk area, including sidewalks in a park, except upon a permanent or duly authorized temporary driveway. These restrictions do not apply to a toy vehicle with or without a motor when operated by a child. B, no person shall drive a motorized vehicle, motorized bicycle, or moped on a street, lawn area, the curb of a street, a planting strip, or any other type of public land, except upon a permanent or duly authorized temporary driveway when otherwise lawfully authorized in writing by the Village of Green Hills. C, except as otherwise provided in this subsection, whoever violates this section is guilty of a minor misdemeanor if within 1 year of the offense the offender previously has been convicted of or pleaded guilty to one predicate motor vehicle or traffic offense. Whoever violates this section is guilty of a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. If within 1 year of the offense the offender previously has been convicted of 2 or more predicate motor vehicle or traffic offenses, whoever violates this section is guilt of a misdemeanor of the 3rd degree. Section 3, that the section 373.11 motorized vehicle operation equipment and license shall be amended as follows. 373.11A, no person shall operate a motorized bicycle, electric bicycle, or moped upon any park land or sidewalk within a park. No person shall operate a motorized bicycle or moped upon any street or highway or any public or private property used by the public for the purposes of vehicular travel or parking unless all of the following conditions are met. All other parts of section 373.11 remain the same. Section 4, that this ordinance shall be in full force and take effect from the earliest date as allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this ordinance.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance. Any discussion?
Can I make a motion to change the word guilt to guilty in section 2C in the last paragraph? Or just point of clarification, I believe it intends to be.
Typographical
error
error that can be corrected.
Okay, that one.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Lee,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Kabod,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 2017-03-LNR passes. Next ordinance, number 2017-04-LNR.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2017-04 LNR, ordinance amending the section 737.03 registration of the Greenhills Code of Ordinances, peddlers and solicitors. Whereas certain updates are needed to section 737 of the Greenhills Code of Ordinances regarding peddlers and solicitors, now therefore be ordained by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio. Section 1, Section 737.03 registration shall be amended to read as follows. No peddler or solicitor other than a minor engaging in no neighborhood solicitation by minors shall participate in any peddling or solicitation or undertake any peddling or solicitation within the village without registering with the Village of Green Hills. The purpose of such registration is to provide information to the village regarding those individuals who will be participating in such activities and to provide information to organizations and individual persons concerning the procedures for recognizing at which dwellings the occupants do not wish to be intruded upon by such solicitation. To register, any person or organization must complete a registration form, and that's the change, at least 48 hours in advance of the applicant's desired time for peddling or soliciting. The form can be obtained at the Greenhills Municipal Building or online on the village website, www.greenhillsohio.us. Applicants must provide proper identification for each person who will participate in such peddling and or solicitation or undertake in peddling or solicitation. An administrative fee for said registration shall be set annually by the village council. Section 2, all other parts of Section 737 shall remain the same. Section 3, that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days from its passage by the village council. Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption of this ordinance.
The first reading?
No, it's second reading.
Yes,
Or
yes.
first reading? Oh, second reading, okay.
Second? We have a second?
Second?
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question. I know that there are some residents that have signs out that say no solicitation. I just wondered if it's necessary to have any kind of wording in here that we're not endorsing them and giving them permission to knock on any door if someone has that kind of,
Yeah, that's already there.
okay.
That's already in the code. Just to be real clear, the only thing this is doing is, the only change this is making is to say where you get the form and when you have to
And the
turn the
time
form
frame.
in. There's the whole rest of Chapter 737 governs
Covers that.
the hours that they can be out. The part about residents having the no solicitation sign, that all remains
Okay, great.
unchanged.
Thank you.
Is there any way to have in the website anything having to do with the permits as it comes of, because
I do
sometimes,
already do that.
huh?
I do that on the front page. There's always a section on current peddlers.
Okay, because some of them, they respond very straight to your face, oh, yes, we have, and I said, well, do you have any ID, do you have anything to, and then they'd run away, jump into the cars and leave.
Those don't happen.
Right.
Always say. But, sometimes it's just calling the police department for the non-emergency number, is taking them out for something that they're doing that, will deter from them finishing whatever they are working, and that they have a prisoner there, or anything like that. It has happened in the past when I called. So I just wanted to make sure that if there is, for example, a finalized list by a Friday at 4 or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what I do, so you can count on the front of the website to be accurate if somebody has the license, because I don't sign the paper. Chief signs it first, then I don't sign it until I put it on the internet.
Okay,
So,
And there's several on there right now.
okay.
So that way, we wanted to be sure we had that step for the residents to know they could look there and see the current one, so I don't even sign it.
That
and then
might
we
be
get it
also
put
an
on there.
idea to put it on the paper as a little notice or something, that if you doubt if someone is legitimately knocking at your door,
Right.
please check at the website and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a couple people recently come up and get one. They couldn't print the no solicitation form themselves, so we printed it out for them. And I may have actually put something in my report this time in the journal. I can't remember.
Okay.
I may have on that very top.
Okay.
It looks like on our website, There's 2 listed, but they were supposed to be done by December of
I was gonna say, I think
2016.
they're outdated, yeah.
So
I don't think we have
there
any
shouldn't be
current
anyone
ones
right
Well,
now.
I had one selling steak, so
Yeah.
that's,
Not current.
and that kind of jumped into the truck and left what do you call it, a rubber mark. Yeah.
And
Nope.
the signs, the no solicitation sign, it says you're supposed to have it be 5 by 7.
Our code does
Is
call
that-
for it to be at least 5 by 7. I
That
guess for
seems big.
visibility.
Okay, sorry.
I guess they figure somebody, whoever
A
wrote
large
wrote
enough
that,
card.
that you have to have a certain size to be visible, I
Okay.
guess, from the street or from the sidewalk.
All right. Clerk, call the roll.
Walther,
Aye.
Cavode,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance 2017-04-LNR passes. New business, ordinance 2017-05-LNR. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of ordinance 2017-05 LNR, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio. It's the first reading.
Okay. All right, next, resolution 2017-06-LNR. You again.
Yeah. And any of the rest of you want to chime in here with one of you? You get your spot. The
I'm glad you
resolu-
decided not to leave today.
And thanks for taking over that one. So, Resolution 2017-06, LNR, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract for the sale of real estate located to the rear of 49 Bayham Drive. Whereas property located to the rear of 49 Bayham Drive was donated to the Village of Greenhills in 1999. And whereas the property is of no value to Greenhills and is adjacent to and serves as a backyard for the resident at 49 Bayham Drive, and whereas the resident of 49 Bayham is interested in purchasing the property from the Village of Greenhills, and whereas because this is Greenbelt property, appropriate deed restrictions that will run with the land have been incorporated into the sale documents to protect the integrity of the Greenbelt. Now therefore be resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into the contract substantially in the form that is attached as Exhibit A. Section 2, that the municipal manager is further authorized to execute any and all necessary documents to fulfill the sale of said property. Section 3, that the finance director is hereby directed to deposit sale proceeds into the general fund of the village. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption of this resolution.
Have a second?
I second.
Did you?
I
Do
do
we
have a
have an
couple of
exhibit?
questions.
Wait.
Yeah, because one of the things I wanted to do, since it is Greenbelt land, I wanted to read from the actual quitclaim deed, we're going to use the restrictions that are
Okay.
in it, just so you can feel good that it's in there. Restrictions. By acceptance of this quitclaim deed, grantee acknowledges and accepts that there shall be no improvements/structures constructed on the real estate conveyed. This real estate is designated Greenbelt area and shall be transferred, conveyed, and/or sold in conjunction with purchasers' adjacent property to the south being located at 49 Bayham Drive, also identified as parcel 597-80-119. It is more fully described and recorded. Then it just goes on about the recorder's records. The point, these restrictions shall run with the land and be binding on the grantee, her heirs, successors, and assigns. So we did two things. First, they can't build anything on it. And secondly, they can't sell it independent of their main home. So
And does that include a fence? They
that
can't,
includes like everything.
okay.
Does that include taking down trees?
Well, we have another restriction for Greenbelt that you have to get
You have to get a
permission to
permit.
take
Well, I just
down
didn't know if it
already.
needed, I didn't know if it needed to be part of that and called out as well. Okay.
It would,
I
it would,
think they were here, Greenbelt.
it would follow
Okay.
the guidelines of Greenbelt, so.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
what
any
you-
other questions?
When you read is in place of what it says in here, the Exhibit A, is that what you meant
Correct.
by? Okay. And then also there is no amount in here for the sale. Usually there is, and
Yeah,
it's not
there
here.
usually is $500,
Okay.
and it will go into the general fund.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Cavode,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-06-Eleanor passes. Next resolution, number 2017-08-S. Mr. Hermes.
07 S&S.
You skipped me.
Oh,
Thanks,
No, it's
Dave.
Cavode.
oh,
Cavode.
Feel so
oh,
welcomed here.
that's right. Wait a minute.
That's okay.
There's two S's. Got it?
Okay. No,
Streets and services.
this is,
Letter C.
No.
Letter C.
wait, is-
We're up on this
oh,
one.
I'm jumping ahead. Okay. 2017-07 SS.
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 2017-07-S&S. Resolution authorizing assessments on certain properties in the village of Greenhills. Whereas the village has given proper notice to the owners of certain real property in the village of Greenhills regarding the removal of vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris from the properties listed below. And whereas the owners of said properties did not take action to remedy the violations, and therefore the village of Greenhills contracted to remove vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris, and now seeks to collect said expenses by authorizing the placement of a lien upon the lands and collect it as other taxes. Now, therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of Greenhills, a majority of which concur, that Section 1, that the village council hereby certifies that the cost of such labor, together with the expenses relative thereto, be filed on the return and statement to the Hamilton County Commissioners as an assessment against the properties listed and placed as a lien against the properties by the auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio, as follows. Description: 597-0040-0053, 39 Flanders Lane, owner THTRS Corp. Cost $166.40. Section 2, all amounts collected as a result of this resolution shall be placed into the general fund of the village of Greenhills. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect immediately upon its passage. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve this resolution.
I second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, at some appropriate time, I think a question of adding not only to the cost, but some sort of additional administrative fee to do these sort of things to these assessment, if that's allowed by law, so.
It is, and I believe we do already put the administrative fee
Okay.
in there. And then furthermore, when it gets down to the county, they have an administrative fee.
Okay, very good.
So do your work and it saves you some money.
Right,
Yep.
there you go. Spring cleaning.
Yeah.
Clean up your leaves and your debris.
All right, clerk, call the roll.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Cavode,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-07-S&S. Now, we go to Resolution 2017-08-S. Ms. Hermes.
Resolution number 2017-08-S, authorizing the municipal manager to purchase a 2017 Ford Explorer for the Greenhills Police Department. Whereas the Greenhills Police Department is in need of a new cruiser, and the State Cooperative Purchasing Program offers a 2017 Ford Explorer at a good price, and whereas it It is in the best interest of the Village of Green Hills to take advantage of that price and commit to the purchase. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized and directed on behalf of the Village of Green Hills to purchase a 2017 four-door all-wheel drive Police Explorer vehicle from Lebanon Ford in the amount of approximately $28,000. Section 2, that the finance director is hereby authorized to pay said vendor an amount up to $28,000 for this vehicle. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after its passage. I so move for this adoption.
Second it.
Okay, any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Cavode,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-08-S passes, and hopefully that Post-it note doesn't blow off in the storm tonight. Okay, Resolution number 2017-09-F. Mrs. Walther.
This is a resolution requesting the Auditor of State to approve the creation of a police donation fund. Whereas Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.12 requires approval by the Auditor of State to establish funds that are not established by Ohio Revised Code Sections 5705.09, 5705.121, 5705.13, and 5705.131. And whereas the Village of Green Hills has received donations with the intentions of allowing the police department to assist with indigent persons, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio, Section 1, the village is requesting the Auditor of State to approve attached Auditor of State request for fund approval form allowing for the establishment of the police fund donation fund. Section 2. This resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the passage. Passage would be the 28th day of February 2017.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Cavode,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-09-F passes. All right, the next one, Resolution number 2017-10-F.
It should be 2017, but it says 2016 on the top.
Oh, on the resolution, yes. Typo error. Okay.
So resolution number 2017-10-F, a resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. And whereas the 2017 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 27th of 2016 are to be amended, and whereas appropriations must not exceed total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.36A 5. Therefore, an amended certificate of estimated resources has been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio that, Section 1, since certain actions are needed in the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Green Hills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2017, the following items of expenditure are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2017. The fund number 1000, description, council and legislative order, appropriation $8,925, change $3,000, total $11,925. Fund 2081, drug enforcement and education, other, appropriation $4,000, change $5,000, total $9,000. Fund 4901, capital projects, other, appropriations, blank, change, $9,525, total, $9,525. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law, passed by this 28th day of February 2017, and I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
Do you want to make a comment?
Sure, I can fill you in a little bit on what's going on here. On the first item, the 1,000, the additional 3,000 is needed for our codification that we just went through, that you approved the supplement for tonight. By the way, none of this, these are no new dollars. These are all just appropriations being taken from the existing fund balances. The next one is additional money to go into that account for radios, plus I think we wanted to keep a balance there in case other expenditures come up as well, in that account. And then the 4901 capital project, that was for the rainwater harvest project. At the beginning of the year, we didn't appropriate money, but we have received additional grant money and those bills had to be paid. So that's what that figure represents.
All right, clerk, call the roll.
Cabot,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2017-10-F passes. All right, we have a motion to reappoint Melanie Hermes, Nancy Moore, and Gayla Radford to the Community Programming Board for their terms expiring March 31st, 2020. Anybody want to make that motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we reappoint Melanie Hermes, Nancy Moore, and Galena Radford to the Community Programming Board.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
I vote no, oppose that. And it's not the fact that we are appointing, not the fact that they are the people involved, but the process in which it's done. And I have commented that already with the Waycross program.
Okay, well, as I mentioned in the last meeting, as long as someone wants to be reappointed to any of the boards that we have here in the village, I plan to reappoint them.
I
And so
understand.
it makes no difference whether, however they handle it. The only way I wouldn't reappoint somebody is if I don't think they're doing the job. Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I have a motion about the temporary adjustment to the golf membership fee.
Second?
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, calendar, and since we're having the retreat on the 18th, and we don't have anything to act on the 13th, I'd suggest...
On the you mean on the
Or
14th?
the 14th, I would suggest we consider canceling the regular work session and just have our retreat that week.
Is there, in case that something comes up that we need to work on it, are we allowed to work it on the retreat or not?
We don't usually make, during our work session,
No.
unless we take any action.
on something?
Not to vote, but to discuss something like we do on the work session. If something comes up to discuss during that time of the retreat before it comes to a vote at the end of the month. So in other words, we will not have an emergency vote, resolution or anything like that. Are we allowed to do that or not?
Well, as I know, we've talked about this a number of times. I know we call this a retreat and you have a special agenda for that day, but it's a public meeting, and you're allowed to do anything at that public meeting like you would any other public meeting. You'll have an agenda at that retreat, and if for some reason some issue has come up that needs to be discussed, you can make a motion to amend the agenda, to add something to the agenda, and you deal with it just like you would at any other public meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
And just to confirm the time on the 18th for the retreat? 9 to 3, okay.
What was it?
Okay, 9 to 3?
9 to 3.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had the time down, so 9.
Okay, is that it?
March 13th, 4 PM, laws and rules.
March 13th, 5 PM, Streets and Services.
March 14th, 5:15, community development.
March 28th, 5:15, Safety Committee. And it's a little early, but April 16th is the Greenhouse Fire Department Easter egg hunt. Watch out on the website for more details.
Get ready for your
Don't be late.
5 minutes of egg collecting. All right.
And March 21st, the Rita Tax Day at Mount Healthy.
Okay, no further business, meeting adjourned.